the difference between the team mindset and the CEO mindset? A few days ago, I shared with you a vlog that I did where I talked about the 3 types of mindsets that you must have in order to be successful in your relationships and to achieve your relationship goals. And today I want to take a little bit deeper dive into the team versus CEO mindset. And this is particularly going to be important for women who are high achieving women, women who are ambitious, who are starting their own businesses and climbing the corporate ladder to get to that C-suite. You know, it can get a little challenging for us to differentiate between the two. And it's also doubly challenging if you grew up in a traditional household where you were really taught about men being the head of household, and sometimes that tends to contradict who we are as ambitious women, and it just becomes a gray area for us trying to figure out how do you really show up in a relationship so that you not only survive the relationship, you can thrive in the relationship. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. If you're new to me, hi there. My name is Sharika Matthews. I am a life coach, relationship expert, and the creator of Feminine Success Mastery. And I work with high achieving women to help them answer the question, am I in the right relationship? But then I also give them the tools to help them create the right relationship for them. And that's part of the conversation that we're having today, because one of the right tools is having the right mindset, specifically the team versus CEO mindset. Now, as you can tell, I am going to lean more towards encouraging you to have a team mindset when it comes to a relationship versus the CEO mindset. But what happens is that it's more natural for a lot of us women to take on the CEO mindset. But before I get into those two differences, I want to get back to the basics and take another look at what mindset means. When we look it up in a dictionary, mindset is the collective attitude that you have towards anything in your life, towards another person, towards a thing, or whatever it is that you're focused on. So that is what a mindset is. But to dig a little deeper, we want to look at what is an attitude. Your attitude is also the collection of your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs. That's your attitude. So think about that. Your mindset is your attitude. Your attitude is made up of and influenced by your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs. And what happens is that our thoughts, our feelings, and our beliefs can unconsciously and subconsciously influence our attitude, and we show up in ways that could be counterproductive in us achieving our relationship goals and achieving that relationship success. So we want to take a look at that, because when you have this belief system or a thought process that says that although men may be the head of household, I am better at doing X, Y, and Z, sometimes that can create conflict. So what I want to do now is that I want to draw a parallel between the CEO mindset, which a lot of us tend to have, and not just us as women, but men do too, and draw a parallel and contrast that to the team mindset. So when we talk about having a CEO mindset, that CEO mindset is more of a boss mentality. You know, when you look at social media, we're always talking about, you know, boss ladies and, you know, being the boss of this and making boss moves and securing the bag and all that. That is great. That is absolutely great in the realm of financial success, in the realm of professional success. But when you apply that CEO mindset to your relationship, you put yourself in a position, you hold this posture of being the boss. You hold this posture of giving orders. You have to do A, you should do this, you have to do that. See, that is what a CEO does in a relationship. But what that also does is make you as the woman having total responsibility for the survival, for the success, and for the ability of the relationship to thrive. When you take on the CEO posture, you take on total responsibility for that entire relationship. That means no one else is responsible, not even him, when you take on that CEO mindset. And what that also does is isolate you from your partner. Because when you have the CEO mindset, you're making decisions, you're giving orders, you're taking responsibility. And when you have all of that on your shoulder, you don't really have room to take input from anybody else. So therefore, you tend to push him away, not knowingly, but you do in your actions, you do in your posture. See, that is what a CEO does. Because the CEO knows that the ship, the success of the ship, the success of the relationship rests on his or her shoulders. But let's shift that. Let's take a look at the team mindset. You see, when you have a team mindset, that means there's dialogue, that there's an exchange of information, there's active listening. Like, I am actively listening to you. I want to know what you have to say, make sure I understand what you have to say, so that we can chart our course, so that we can decide what to do together. That means we come together, we make a compromise, we go, what did you do? You put your elbow, you lock elbows with each other. You say, you know what? Based on your idea, based on my idea, based on what our relationship goals are, we're gonna lock arm in arm and go after this thing together. We are working towards this thing together. We are equally responsible. We may have different ways of acting that out, but we are going to be equally responsible in this thing. Now, the gray area that some of us have here is when it comes to, okay, I have a partner, we have locked arms in arms, but I'm better at finances than he is. And he is better at, I don't know, financial planning than he is. And so I have to give him orders. You don't have to give him orders. You can still include him in the conversation. You can still include him in the decision-making process. You don't have to take on that total responsibility, because while you may be better at it, he's still your teammate. And so it's just like when you're at work, right? And you have to give reports to your team members. It's about having accountability, and having that accountability and having that open dialogue is what keeps you closer together. And I know a few weeks ago I shared a question, or a post I should say, about whether or not having shared bank accounts for a married couple is always the best thing to do. And a lot of the respondents to that post said, well, you know, it helps keep you accountable. It helps builds up trust, and it helps do all of these things. And while that is true for a lot of people, it doesn't necessarily mean that that is the only way to go. That is why having that open dialogue, having that accountability with each other, to each other, and for each other, however you choose to play that out, is what will allow you to lock arm in arm together and move forward and move towards achieving the relationship goals that you both have agreed to. See, and that's the thing when it comes to relationships, and having people be stronger in one area than the other. We tend to want to make one person responsible for the whole thing. And that's not really a partnership. That's not really a relationship. A relationship allows you to have maybe more responsibility in an area, but it doesn't absolve the other person from having responsibility as well. So that is where you come together. And I keep using this visual aspect of locking arms together, because I may be taking my right foot forward first, and you may take your left foot forward first. We may do things slightly differently, but we have come into agreement to do this thing and to do it together the best way we see fit. So when you have a team mindset that allows you to talk through it together, that allows you to come into agreement. And that is the key that's missing from when you're having a CEO mindset in a relationship. You don't have to come into agreement with anybody. You don't have to sit down and talk with anybody. You just make a decision and you tell others what to do in order to support your decision. That is a CEO mindset. And when you have that type of mindset, what that does is tend to create a boss and employee relationship between your spouse. That creates a mother-child relationship with your boyfriend or your husband. And to be honest with you, don't none of us want that. I know I should. I don't want to have to boss my man around. I don't want to have to treat my husband as if he is a child and I have to guide him and mold him and tell him what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. That is how relationships break down. But when you have the team mindset, you don't have to do any of that. And one thing I've noticed with women who struggle with having the team mindset when it comes to certain areas in their relationships, or even all areas in their relationship, is that they hold on to that CEO mindset because it gives them comfort. They hold on to the CEO mindset because they're driven by fear, they're driven by lack of trust, and they're driven by insecurity. Think about that. When you have to maintain control over another person, when you have to maintain control of how things are done and when things are done and the manner in which it's done, that's usually because you're afraid of something. You have some trauma that happened to you from your past relationship, or you have some trauma that happened to you or you witnessed in your parents' relationship, or something that happened in your childhood that's influencing the fear, that's influencing the insecurity, that's influencing the distrust that you're having today. That's why you're holding on so tightly to that CEO mindset in your relationship, even though what your heart truly wants is a partnership. But here's the flip side too that I've noticed with men. When men hold on to the CEO mindset, that comes from a place of entitlement. It comes from a place of righteousness. It even comes from a place of lack of respect for men towards women when a man holds on to the CEO mindset. And what that does, and I hate to say it in these terms, but what that does is that it creates a master-slave relationship. I actually had a grown man tell me one day that because God made him the head of household, that God made him the ruler over everything and everybody in his household. And because he is the ruler, he has the right, the God-given right, to punish anybody in his household, including his wife. Let me tell y'all something. I couldn't be married to him. I don't know about you. But I use that example because we have taken things that was initially meant to give us structure and give us guidance in our relationship and taken it way left. We've taken this idea of head of household as saying that, you know, this man has to be completely responsible for every single thing. And all I got to do as a woman is sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. And while that may sound nice, you know, from a high level point of view, what that does for you, it takes away your power. What that does for you is takes away your voice. What that does for you is create a relationship where you're literally the servant of someone else. And that is not a relationship. That is not a heart relationship. That's not even the relationship that God has with us. If you are a traditional Christian, you know that the relationship that God has with us is a relationship of grace. It's a relationship of forgiveness. A relationship is a personal relationship where God doesn't force us to do anything. He gives us rules. He gives us guidelines, but he still gives us free will and allow us to grow and to evolve and to choose what we want to have for ourselves and for our lives. And for a lot of us, we tend to believe that a marriage relationship is a reflection of God's relationship with us. But yet and still, we operate our relationships differently than God's relationship with us. And we expect for it to be happy. We expect for it to be peaceful. We expect for it to be full of the love that God exhibits towards us when we're not even showing the love in our relationship. So that's why I'm focusing a lot here on the team versus CEO mindset, because once you shift yourself from having the CEO mindset, let go of the servant and the master mindset, let go of the mother-son mindset, let go of the boss-employee mindset, and really partner with your partner Just like God partners with you, because, think about that. God partners with us when he gave us the Holy Spirit. The Spirit of God dwells within us. That was a partnership. That was a commitment. God said, I'm going to put my spirit in you so that I can be with you wherever you go. That is ultimate commitment. That is ultimate partnership. And if we want our relationship to reflect that level of partnership, that level of agreement, that level of freedom, then we have to choose to be a partner. We have to choose to be a team. All right, you guys, I know I gave you a lot in this message here today. If you have any questions or comments, leave your comments below and let me know, where do you feel most comfortable in? Do you feel more comfortable being the CEO in your relationship, or do you feel more comfortable being the team in your relationship? Or do you find that in some areas of your relationship, like sex or finances or household duties or planning things, maybe you feel like you have the team mindset in some areas, but in other areas you have the CEO mindset? Let me know in the comments below which one of these that you find yourself more aligned with, and let's work through that. All right, you guys, did you enjoy this today? If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments. And if you want to keep up to date when I post more content like this, I want you to go to my website, SharikaAMatthews.com, and sign up for my email list. I have a free gift for those of you who do so today. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me here. And until next time, be bold. Walk in your brilliance and be completely unstoppable in the pursuit of what your heart truly desires in your life and in your relationships. I'll talk to you soon.